Okay, my next question is from CrossADog1, and he asks, which OC girl of yours is more attractive? Well, I can't really say because both female OCs of mine have qualities and traits in them that can be considered attractive. It really depends on the person who is looking at them or they're viewing their profile. Like, for Eva's case, she is considered more of a late bloomer, and some people really didn't see her as a beauty until after she became an adult. And before that, she was initially known as considered like the smart girl. Maybe she focused more on studying, having a career of her own, having things settled into place. And she did have a boyfriend before she got together with her current boyfriend right now, but it ended up pretty badly because she was in a abusive relationship with that guy, and he had decided to strike her in the face. So when she fought back, she had him arrested after she left and left to her sister's house and decided to start a new life where she is currently. And that's for Eva's story. Now, now she did suffer from one of those ugly duckling syndrome type things or whatever it is, but it wasn't because she wasn't really ugly though. It's not like she was disfigured or she had any kind of unfortunate things happen to her physically, but the thing is that they're just a bunch of jerks in her youth that just said all that stuff to her mainly because she did not resemble what they wanted her to look like, and she was not willing to change any of that. So that was a little bit of what it is for Ava. Now for Cherokee, it's a bit of the opposite. You see, she is considered attracted to a lot of people. Some people would find her very pretty, but some of the downside to that was that she didn't really date too much time, or she may have ran into some people who felt like because she had a certain look, or because she did have some people become an admirer to her, they started, saying some stuff about her that was not true. They thought she was, very snooty or above everyone else, or she was like messing around with other guys at more than one time, and that's just not true. And that the fact of it is, she does not like to use her looks as a means to get things that she wants, and she really gets offended when people refer to her as a spoiled brat or a little spoiled princess or whatnot. So she does have a childhood friend who apparently took a liking to her as more than a friend, but she basically had turned him down, and she started developing feelings for her current boyfriend, who she actually met while he was taking pictures of certain places, certain people. So simply, whoever is considered attractive in your eyes, that's maybe someone who's more attractive, but in terms of who is more attractive, I can't really say, because to me it's just like right down the middle. It's really much of a toss-up. So, so basically, it's up to you to decide on who's more attractive than the other. Okay, this question is from Chara14, and she asks, "What is the first thing you ever drawn when you were as a kid, or what can remember?" As far back as I can remember, the first things that I remember drawing were flowers and trees and grass and anything that had to do with landscapes. I think I've drawn those so many times, so much as a kid, that I actually got sick of them and started to draw things that involved animals and people, or even other parts of things that represented the earth. Like, in terms of people, I'm still working on that. That's still considered a work in progress because certain parts of the body are actually still pretty difficult. especially when dealing with the hands and the feet, because they just have so many intricate details, and the toes and the fingers, they have so many those intricate details as well, and you can kind of like draw them out one way and they can look completely different, or it may look too flat. Now, in terms of like non-real things, there may be some stuff that's for fan and games or fan art, or anything that is like outside reality. I didn't actually start drawing stuff revolving from Crash Bandicoot, but actually some stuff from Super Mario Brothers. Maybe I just started doing the Koopa Kids or something like that. And I actually started off drawing comics for that. But the problem with my old comics was that I would draw like one or two people all on one page, or drawn completely in the center of a piece of paper, and that would just do that one page and then move to a second page and do the same thing. It actually took me a while to start doing comics where I had to use smaller spaces and use comic panels. By the time I learned to do that, I realized that by doing it that way, not only am I able to get more pictures put in one page, but I actually save paper that way. So those are the things that I remember drawing when I was a kid. My last question for this video is from Brittany Tiger, and she asked, so what is your favorite hobby? Well, my favorite hobby is and will always be anything that relates to art. And I don't mean art by drawing just on paper or doing digital art on the computer. I mean different styles of art, whether it be painting or doing a collage or martial arts or even doing culinary arts. I'm not sure what has happened into the art field as this time, but somewhere along the line, art is now considered a write-off field where people don't even think too much about it. And for those who tell anyone that you can't really make a career out of art, or art is just something that's not worth your time, they're stuck in a time zone where they need to really get out of it. Because with anything containing with art, it's applied to everything and everywhere. And art requires that you do a lot of critical thinking. So, if you're not willing to do critical thinking or doing anything that involves common sense, or you're willing to look at things from more than just one perspective, then you're not going to be too successful in your work. Like an example is that you can be studying and doing a lucrative field, and you will want somebody to come and pay attention to you and listen to what it is that you can do. Now, if you don't have anybody like an artist, or you don't have someone who is willing to show you how to do that, or being willing to represent you in that way, who is going to turn around and pay attention to what it is that you're going to do? See, that's why, to me, art is really important, and it's not just sticking to one thing. Now, a long period of time ago, people would do anything. They would pay a massive amount of money just to watch an artist do sculptures or paintings or hand-drawn or line art work. I'm not sure why that is slowing down or is not respected as it once was back then, but we need more artists is to show that art is a very important level in this playing field in this society. Otherwise, how we're going to be able to tell our story other than just words? Even writing is considered an art. Mathematics can be considered an art as well, because especially in geometry, you need to know the basic elements of art in order to solve a few problems. like your mathematic problems. And the same thing can be said with science to a certain degree. So, art is really considered my main hobby along with computers and technology. Because those two together, put together, that that just gives me what it is that I'm doing right now. I'm starting to do graphic designing. So those two hobbies represent the things that I love to do and what I'm going to do and what I'm going to be in the future. Well, this is the end of my first ever Ask a Question voice video. I want to thank everybody who submitted the questions to me, and hopefully I've answered all your questions and given you responses to what you have liked. If you weren't able to post your question on DeviantArt and hand it to me, you can still do so, but then I'll answer your questions in the next Ask a Question video. Now, the next part I'm going to do is I'm going to explain my original characters' origins and their backstories and how they came about, and hopefully I'll be able to successfully supply all their voices, and I hope that they all do not sound like each other, or I don't mix up the voices with the wrong character, or none of them end up sounding the way I do when I'm speaking to you guys like I am right now. Otherwise, that would be a big fail. Yeah. So, I hope everybody enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys and hear from you next time.